Now, this is a really important question because we live in a world of short-termism. A lot of our clients are on the street, they have short-term rewards. Our sales departments are judged on short-term quotas. We never go into a board meeting ever and have a board member say, "Hey, Seth, hey, Misty, how's that trust building program going?" Right? I mean, come on, we all know it's
But
really
how
about
awesome would it
sales.
be
Yes.
if they did?
Right, it
Right?
would,
Yeah.
right? But
Yes.
that's not the world that we live in. How do we build trust, build these relationships in a world that isn't expecting us to do that, not
Mhm.
rewarding us to do that? The entire system around us isn't against us on that, but it's not for us.
You're dead on. What I think is interesting, if you would go and talk to sales leaders, this is a guess. I have no study behind this, but I would wager 75% or more would say that their success comes from the relationships that they have built. But then they go and hire people. Now, and this may not be because of the sales leader. There's a lot of pressure from the board, the CEO, the CFO, whoever it may be. There's a lot of pressure to hit those numbers. But where does that get lost? That the people who have been successful, the leaders that have been around for a long time, especially in certain industries, they built their success on those relationships, on that trust that they have built over the years. Now, we talked about this as well. There are certain organizations that may have a little bit of a longer runway. They have been successful, they have been around, and that will enable them to build those relationships in order to get there. A lot of companies don't. A lot of companies don't have that. But here's what they try to hire for. They want to hire somebody who has been in that industry or knows people in that industry because they believe that they already have those relationships that exist. However, I've been in this space. I was at a company for 8 years. I'm now at a new company doing the same thing. They have to make sure that they trust me to back the
Right.
new company that I am working with as well. A lot of factors that come into play here. Again, I don't know that there's the patience for it. Maybe with Forrester coming out with a report, the boards and the CEOs will now listen, but that's really a difficult thing for companies to understand. I think Misty and I are very lucky to have a CEO who gets that. He built this company. Tricon's been around for 27 years, and he built it organically based on relationships that he's had over the years. I think that's why because the culture exists, and that's the other side of it. If the culture doesn't exist, which Misty can talk to again all day about, but if the culture doesn't exist, then they're not going to buy into it. And they're still looking for that transactional
Yeah,
sale
right.
that needs to happen. Misty, you see it all the time with
Yeah.
culture.
No, it is. That's really what it comes down to. You summed it up. If you're focused on the transaction, the trust goes out the window. You got to be focused on something different than that. Here's the thing
Mhm.
too. It feels like it takes forever. Seth and I talked about that. And we have between the two of us quite a bit over the last going on 2 years of this current role of gosh, it just takes a long time. But in the end of the day, it's worth it. I'm going to say that in two parts. Number one, it can be worth it if eventually there is something that comes to you for a sale and you land that great thing. The other side that's worth it to you is the paying it forward, right? It may not happen with this person that you've put up a lot of investment into and the relationship you've built and the dynamics that you've built. But guess what? There's 2 to 3 more people they're telling about you two. And that's something that comes back there. It's always a win win when you invest in someone else and you ask the questions and you're truly there for them, not for the transaction. That's what it's got to be about, though. And that's authenticity.